I don't know what you feel about the prosperity gospel, the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel, but I'll tell you what I feel about it. Hatred. It is not the gospel. And it's being exported from this country to Africa and Asia, selling a bill of goods to the poorest of the poor. Believe this message: your pigs won't die. Your wife won't have miscarriages. You have rings on your fingers and coats on your back. That's coming out of America.
I want to welcome you to Decade of Destiny, which is a program, and I've told you this every week, that I, as your pastor, am committed to helping you succeed in every key area of your life in the next 10 years. And that means succeeding physically in your health, spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationally. I want you to succeed in your career. I want you to succeed in your family. And as your pastor, I'm going to do everything I can to help you out in this because God wants you to go through this next decade with direction, not just drifting and die. He has a plan. He has a purpose. He has a destiny, a calling for your life. Now the question, plus need plus calling equals destiny. Your gifts, the gifts God gives you, that's the assets and the liabilities in your life, the needs that you see around you, plus the individual calling God has on your life. That's called your vocation. Your calling comes from voce, the Latin word for call or voice, vocal. Gifts plus need plus calling equals your destiny. Now what I want us to do this weekend is look at a very well-known story in the Bible, the story of Esther, as a model of the 4 things you must do in order to fulfill your destiny. And
I'll tell you what makes Jesus look beautiful is when you smash your car and your little girl goes flying through the windshield and lands like dead on the street. And you say, through the deepest possible pain, God is enough. God is enough. He is good. He will take care of us. He will satisfy us. He will get us through this. He is our treasure. Whom have I in heaven but you? And on earth there's nothing that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart, my little girl may fail, but you are the strength of my heart and my portion forever.
It's your health, and I'm going to look at my own health. I want you to be holy and happy, and I want you to be healthy. The fact that I want you in 3 years, the end of phase 1, to be more skilled, I want you to be smarter, and I want you to be successful because of what you have learned.
You are the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Oh, how I pray that America would be purged of the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel, and that the Christian church would be marked by suffering for Christ.
So why do I feel so strongly about the so-called prosperity gospel? There's an easy answer, but before I give it, let me define it a little bit. It's on a continuum from the most radical to what would be called soft or light. And the most radical would basically say, God wants you rich, and you should partner with him by faith to pursue riches. And the justification would be given, can't accomplish much in life without money. And so go for it. Or another rationale might be, you're kingdom kids, and kingdom kids don't wear tattered clothes. They dress like the king, and so on. The light would be simply being more cautious not to say those gross things about wealth, but to minimize sin and minimize pain and only talk about how well things will go for you if you follow Christ.
I want to welcome you to Decade of Destiny, which is a program, and I've told you this every week, that I, as your pastor, am committed to helping you succeed in every key area of your life in the next 10 years. And that means succeeding physically in your health, spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationally. I want you to succeed in your career. I want you to succeed in your family. And as your...
So why do I abominate this so-called gospel? I think it is another gospel. And the first reason would be simply to go straight to the Bible and see what Paul says about those who want to be rich. I mean, it's just, he says, this is 1 Timothy 6:6, now there's great gain in godliness with contentment. In other words, without craving for stuff. For we brought nothing into the world, and we cannot take anything out of the world. If we have food and clothing, with these we'll be content. It's just amazing. But those who desire to be rich, now here's the key text, this is verse 9, those who desire to be rich fall into temptation, into a snare, into many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evils. It is through this craving, that is, this craving to be rich, that some have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many pangs. In other words, the very thing that leads people to suicidal piercings of pangs, namely the desire to be rich, is nurtured and cultivated by the prosperity preachers.
I want to welcome you to Decade of Destiny, which is a program, and I've told you this every week, that I, as your pastor, am committed to helping you succeed in every key area of your life in the next 10 years. And that means succeeding physically in your health, spiritually, emotionally, financially, relationally. I want you to succeed in your career. I want you to succeed in your family. And as your...
You are the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Oh, how I pray that America would be purged of the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel, and that the Christian church would be marked by suffering for Christ